knowing every step through the rise and the fall. In the pages of Proverbs, secrets unfold, revealing a treasure more precious than gold. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness rise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise. It takes wisdom to get paid, to walk the right way, to make the right choices every single day. From the dawn of creation to the hustle and grind, Proverbs light the path for a clear state of mind. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness arise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Why shouldn't nag, men shouldn't brag, shut your lips like a vice, show people you're wise. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness rise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise. In every verse there's a lesson to learn, a spark of truth in every turn. So take a moment, let the words sink in. With every chapter, let the journey begin. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness rise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness rise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise. So grab a new version of the book every month, a whole new look, reading a chapter every day. Let the words of wisdom show you the way.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name's DJ. I read a proverb chapter every single day, and I think you should too. So thanks for being with me here today. We're reading Proverbs 23 today, but let me pray for you first, and we'll get on our journey together. Father God, thank you so much for this time, so much for the ability to just sit down for a little bit of time each day and learn from you, to sit at your feet and absorb your wisdom. So, Father, today we do ask that this be a time of blessing to all those within the sound of my voice, that they may be enriched by your words this morning. And we do pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right.
It's time for Proverbs every day. Words of wisdom show you the way. Every month a whole new look.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, we're reading Proverbs 23 today in the New American Standard Bible. And it's becoming that time of the month, by the way, where if you want to suggest a translation to read, uh, feel free to leave that in the comments below, and we'll consider it. Awesome. Let's dive in. We're continuing our series on life and conduct. So this is the kind of that section of Proverbs. So when you sit down to dine with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you, or who is before you. And put a knife to your throat if you're a person of great appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for it is deceptive food. This has been talked about before, the concept of just being prudent when you're meeting with people of influence. Verse 4. We'll read 4 and 5, actually. I'm just going to start reading these together because that's how they're structured. Do not weary yourself to gain wealth. Stop dwelling on it, or refrain from your understanding of it. When you set your eyes on it, it is gone. For wealth certainly makes itself wings, and an eagle that flies towards the heavens. So we're going to mark this one green. And marking green means it's for Deej. It's a Deej patches right here. But literally 20 minutes ago, I was actually going through one of the John Maxwell trainings. This is something that I'm actually investing in this year, is the John Maxwell program. And so he was talking about the Pareto principle, which, if you're not familiar with that, Pareto, it is the concept of 80-20. In other words, that 20% of your time will yield 80% of the results if you focus. And so otherwise, yeah, you're living in the other realm where 80% of your time is getting your 20% of the results. It's just a phenomenon there. So that whole do not weary yourself to gain wealth, stop dwelling on it. It is one of those things where there's two aspects of that to me. One is that you shouldn't be dwelling on wealth as something that you desire. But also, what this is telling me today is, like, just remember that as far as the practice of going there, of achieving success and wealth and that sort of thing, it is one of those things where it's for those that focus, not for those that that just focus on the 20%, not those that are focusing on the 80% and dwelling on all their days and worrying about it all the time. It's for those that just put up systems that work and just let those systems work for them. So it's a very fascinating phenomenon, but I think most people that have worked hard most of their lives and wonder why they don't have wealth will tell you that, it's not necessarily been the deluge of work that has actually made the results. So I'm trying to not focus on that, but the root of that is to not focus on the wealth part of it at all, and just focus on what needs to be done and focus on the mission, I guess you could say. Verse 6, do not eat the bread of a selfish person or an evil eye, or desire his delicacies. For he thinks within himself, for as he thinks within himself, so he is. Or how he reckons in his soul. He says to you, eat and drink, but his heart is not with you. You will vomit up the morsel you have eaten and waste your compliments. Or your pleasant words. Okay. So again, we're seeing a pattern here of being careful about who you're hanging out with. But I think the or desire is delicacies. It's a envy is what's showing up here. And so if we, again, this is one of those things where we need to be examining our own hearts and being true to who we actually are with that, and being people that say, okay, this is either important or not important to me, and why is that? That sort of thing. So that's our self-examination of the heart, that sort of thing that we've talked about before. But right here, as he thinks himself, so he is. In other words, if we say the words long enough, if we repeat the phrase long enough, that's what you'll become. And so it is one of those things where that has to be of focus all the time. Otherwise, yeah. So if we're looking to other people for that validation, and they're willing to give it to you with these delicacies and all that kind of stuff, and fair talk and all that, it's just, yeah, it's just amounts to nothing. Verse 9, do not speak to be heard or in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. Hey, guess what? That's another green one for me. I talked about that yesterday. The distraction and the awfulness of that, and I'm still being impacted by that. Oddly enough, I did take some action though. I will follow up on what I was talking about yesterday. There's a post that it was somebody else's post, but I just made a comment just asking for a clarification, and it just had this just pile on. And so I found that I could just delete my comment, and the pile went away. And so, literally, I deleted my comment, and everything below it just disappeared. I was like, "Oh, that's fantastic! I like that." So I don't even worry about that anymore. It's gone. It's wiped away. So anyway, but it was still a lesson to don't try and be heard by a fool. Don't, especially when you know that's the result you're going to get. And I think that was the thing in my case. I was doing that. Well, maybe I should convince them, or maybe I should do that. But there wasn't a call for that. There wasn't a question. They weren't asking me to solve anything. So that was my mistake. Don't speak to be heard. All right, verse 10. Do not move the ancient boundary or go into the fields of the fatherless. For their Redeemer is strong, and he will plead their case against you. Apply your heart to discipline and your ears to words of knowledge. It is interesting that those are latched together, isn't it? I'm actually not sure why, but nonetheless. I have to think on that one a little bit, I think, to really get why those are together anyway. Don't take what ain't yours. Verse 13 and 14. Do not withhold discipline from a child. Though you strike him with a rod, he will not die. You shall strike him with the rod and rescue his soul from Sheol, or the underworld, I guess, or yeah. And we've talked about this plenty, I think, but just that whole not withholding that, and again, it's striking him with a rod. It's not a fatal thing. You're not beating to wound. You are disciplining. It's a difference. Verse 15. My son, if your heart is wise, my own heart will be glad. and my innermost being will rejoice when your lips speak what is right. Kidneys, interesting. And my kidneys will rejoice. That is an interesting way to say that. But if your heart is wise. So we've gone from that notion of knowledge being the thing to being kind of that wisdom just kind of from our inner beings, from our kidneys. So random thoughts just ran into my head of a T-shirt that says that's just a kidney bean. But anyway, maybe I don't want to go there. It's a celebrating kidney bean. Oh, I might be to that loopy part of this process. Verse 17. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but live in the fear of the Lord always. Reverence for the Lord always, or all the day. And again, we're talking about the heart here. We're talking about that innermost part of us that makes our kidneys rejoice. Don't make that envy sinners. Certainly there is a future or a latter end, and your hope will not be cut off. Listen, my son, and be wise, and direct your heart in the way. Do not be with heavy drinkers of wine or gluttonous eaters of meat. For the heavy drinker and the glutton will come to poverty, and drowsiness will clothe one with rags. Yeah, again, just it is not just, I think, the people that are overindulging in what they consume in terms of like food and drink, but also I think there's those that overindulge in other things too, just for the sake of doing it. But ultimately, it is destructive. What we're seeing is a pattern of people that are just trying to kind of keep up with the Joneses, I guess you could say, and try and they're letting envy guide their financial decisions. And so what ends up happening with that is ultimately that they are destroyed by that. And they end up racking up debts, trying to keep up and that sort of thing, and to keep up the appearances and things like that, and enjoy life. And they don't really have the focus we were talking about earlier to get past that. And so that's why we're coming to poverty because that they can't see past that. And it's tragic actually, but that's why we get these warnings into our hearts. Verse 22, listen to your father who fathered you. Do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy truth and do not sell it. Get wisdom, instruction, and understanding. Again, this is something you can invest in. And that is why I do the kind of things that I've been doing in the last, I would say, almost 10 years now. I've been investing outside of, just the normal type of quote unquote investments, and investing in myself, investing in growing and learning. And so I'm always getting something in. So it's important. Verse 24, the father of the righteous will greatly rejoice, and he who fathers a wise son will be glad in him. Let your father and mother be glad, and let her rejoice who gave birth to you. Give me your heart, my son, and let my eyes delight in my ways. or sorry, let your eyes delight in my ways or observe my ways. For a prostitute is a deep pit. A strange woman is a narrow well, or a foreign woman is a narrow well. Certainly she lurks like a robber and increases the treacherous among mankind. So again, we have more of the you know, instructions to a young man, basically smacking him on the head and saying, "Look, this is not for you, and here's why." Who has verse 29? Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaining? Who has wounds without cause? Who has red eyes? Those who linger too long over wine, and those who go to taste mixed wine, or search out mixed wine. Do not look at wine when it is red, when it sparkles in the cup, when it goes down smoothly. Sparkles means, or might mean gives its eye in the cup. Interesting. When it goes down smoothly. In the end, it bites like a snake and stings like a viper. Your eyes will see strange things, and your mind will say perverse things. And you'll be like one who lies down in the middle of the sea. Or mind and heart are interchangeable there, it looks like. And middle of the sea, and the heart of the sea. Interesting. That'd be an interesting way to do that. Your heart will say perverse things, and you will be like one who lies down in the heart of the sea. That'd be an interesting way to translate that. Or like the one who lies down on the mast or lookout. They struck me, but I did not become ill from the effect of the wounds. They beat me, but I did not know it. When will I awake? I will seek another drink. Or seek it yet again. Yes, the reality of the one who has gone too far. We might need to make a song out of this one. Not today. I have a meeting I need to get into, but it is kind of fascinating, this particular grouping of passages that are very much just like, it's a lot of like the finger pointing kind of things, I will admit, but it's things that, I mean, especially as a young man, there's a lot of temptations to get into these kind of things. And I mean, when I was younger, I certainly had my struggles with it too, of oh wait, so I can just do this? Wow. And I didn't really participate in it, but I certainly watched people go to the extremes of getting into fights and just like feeling invincible and things like that. That was a thing. I can hear the Irish music playing in the background of some of the things from my youth, of just watching these things in awe of someone who just like would just get completely beaten and literally would get up the next day and just start drinking right away. It was fascinating to me, but at the same time, it was not attractive to me. And I'm thankful that I saw it for what it was. But how much better would it be for this to be part of that discipline before they get into that situation? So this is a blessing. Yeah. But also the whole the do not speak to be heard by a fool. There's some times in my life where I really want to fill in the gap and fill it, not like the silence. And I don't know if that's from my time in radio. I don't really know, but regardless, there are times when I shouldn't be speaking, and I do, and I need to get better about that and follow that Pareto principle and really go for the focusing on the 20% of what I should be saying and making that more impactful. and not just filling up the space. So that's my conviction to myself this morning, and one of those things that I'll be taking on and reflecting on this day. So in any event, it has been a joy to be with you once again, and I do hope you will continue to join me here as we read these Proverbs every single day. We will be making some adjustments in the near future, but I'm looking forward to it a little bit. It's actually I'm not sure how to say this, but basically it's going to be one of those things where what I want to do is have these for you every day, but then also at least once a week have a longer and more intensive live session. Probably more towards the evenings with those. In fact, not if not literally in the evenings for those. But yeah, I want to start thinking more about that and reflecting more on that. I've been feeling more and more a call to that more intensive, not only Bible study but topical, whatever we want to talk about that week. So kind of like with another thing I do, just doing a live recording of a podcast and then just editing it and publishing it. I'm kind of picturing it like that, where the live broadcast would be something that gets kind of pared down into a more concise message down the road. But I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. We'll have to play with it and find out. That's the nice thing about this, is that we can just experiment and figure out what works for people. For this particular broadcast, I will tell you that I have seen a decline in the last few weeks, and so I'm not sure what that represents. If I don't know. It's hard to say, and how to properly keep people inspired and convicted beyond what I already do. So I'm looking at methods for that too, and how I can better encourage folks. Looking at a couple things like text reminders to your phone, that sort of thing is one thing I'm looking at. Some other items that I'm considering as well, but we'll figure it out. So in any case, I'll let you go for today. Be blessed by the best, and then go be a blessing to all the rest. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.